2%. She disclosed that the government will provide health workers equipment and supplies, training, decent remuneration, and improve the working environments.
This was an responsive workforce policies and decisions that optimize access to health services. And by doing so, ladies and gentlemen, we the health, economic, and social benefits of investing in the health and care workers. The analysis is very essential to the dynamics and the challenges of the health labor market through a comprehensive multi-sectoral policy analysis covering education, supply, absorption, recruitment, distribution, retention, productivity, health workforce, as well as future outlooks.
All right, members of parliament allied to the Kenya Kwanza government have this morning in parliament argued why it is important for the country to adopt the finance bill after the National Assembly Finance Committee. On the other hand, members of parliament allied to Azimio want the bill to be shut down. And right now we cross over to the county of Kisumu, where Achola Simon is on standby. This as protests country continue amid complaints from Kenyans that the bill will affect the economy of the country in varied ways. Achola, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Irene, Muchuma, Kisumu County, and keeping an eye on the demonstrations that have actually been happening parts of the country. And of course, Kisumu also joined some of the parts of the country in actually agitating for the rejection of finance bill. Irene, I can assure you that I've covered a number of demonstrations in this region, but I've never seen the composition of demonstrators that actually witnessed today, young and of course by coming out with their mobile phones, and of course some going live on social media platforms, and of course expressing their dissatisfaction and with finance bill. And Irene, since morning, that is around 8 a.m. up until noon, everything was okay. They came, they actually did their thing. Anger with the finance bill, and of course calling on the government and whoever cares to listen to actually try as much as they can to shoot down the bill. But as we are accustomed to in this region, is that when there are demonstrations, most people in the CBD actually close their premises. That was not the case up until around 11 a.m. And as I speak to you, just pan on his left, you can actually see this is one of the biggest retail supermarket in this region, and of course it's actually closed, and the number of them that have actually closed from 11 a.m. up until now, that of course being as a result between midday up until now. The situation has actually calmed down. What happened is that the demonstrators started their demonstration from Kondele, holding a procession through the CBD, all in the streets, and of course agitating for whatever they were agitating for. They went to the sports ground, held there a small continued to hold the procession in the CBD through the streets, and then eventually ended up at the Central Police Station in Kisumu County, in the Kisumu City. Was that a number of them were actually arrested as the result, and of course in the ensuing chaos, the police had actually to throw or lob tear gas canisters in the crowd. But also what happened is that some of them had actually now started on the road, and of course some of them had started throwing stones at the police. Then of course there were running battles here and there, and everything then turned chaotic for some time. But however, as I speak to you right now, everything has quelled down, and businesses have actually But what we see is that the Gen Z, as we have preferred to actually call them, they're actually still grouping up in small groups. And most of them are actually saying that they will continue once they are called upon to actually come out and demonstrate. They're saying that they will continue. I just want to also to put it to you that yesterday the county government of Kisumu County did give directives on exactly what they expected the demonstrators or the routes through which they expected the demonstrators to follow. But also they did call on sure that indeed they maintain peace even as they go about their agitation. That, as I said, happened well up until around 11 a.m. this morning, of course, when hell broke loose. What other thing that we've actually also witnessed, Irene, is the fact that we have not seen any politician coming to claim the limelight that is actually been generated by these Gen Zs. Most politicians have actually kept off. We've seen a number of activists in the groups. However, it has been on a very minimal scale. The Gen Zs this is what we want, and we are willing to speak. Those we've actually talked to actually say that they will continue this. Irene, you know, for a very long time in this country, we have seen a situation whereby the young ones are very loud on social media. They are very loud in other platforms, but when it comes to the voting day, when it comes to actually agitating for, they never show up. But they're saying this time around that they will come out and say and speak as they want to speak. So, of course, we'll be keeping a keen eye on exactly what will be happening. We'll actually try and get to see how many of them have actually been arrested. And, of course, if there's any destruction of property, of course, that will be reported in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you, Irene Muchuma.
Thank you, Achola. Good to have you, Achola Simon, giving us an update from the county of Kisumu. This as most Kenyans in various parts of the country take to the streets in protest of the Finance Bill 2024. Give us on my will be joining him live in a bit. But for now, let's look at other matters making headlines this afternoon. Of the Law Society of Kenya's South-Western branch have expressed their outrage and demanded increased protection following the fatal shooting of Monica Kivuti by a police officer. In a peaceful demonstration in Kisii town, the members, led by their chairman Bernard Gishana, face significant risks due to the sensitive nature of their jobs. Hence, they deserve round-the-clock protection. Sentiments echoed by the chair of the Kisii County LSK chapter.
Strongest terms possible, the senseless and the barbaric killing of the magistrate, the judicial officer. It's very unfortunate that the judicial officer lost her life while in the line of duty. So it's so sad that the court appears compromised. We urge the government to beef up security for our judicial officers who are handling. We have also met the county commissioner, and he has assured us that he is going to beef securities within tomorrow, and we take that assurance.
To Environment Management Authority, NEMA, has threatened to shut down a local university and abattoirs in Kajiado County for non-compliance to environmental. Deputy Enforcement Director Salome Mashua took issue with Uma University for not rectifying its plants after complaints of discharge of raw effluent into open ground at Isinya side, poor disposal of wastewater characterized by overflowing ponds.
So this morning we are at Uma University. We were here a week ago following some complaints that there is effluent discharge from their effluent, and we gave some conditions to be observed that that treatment plant should be looked into so that they stop any to the environment. Kikuyu elders have performed
ritual to pave the way for the cutting of a mugumo tree that fell on a guest room at Spanari Hotel in Nyahururu Town, Laikipia County. Kiama elders involved traditional prayers and the slaughter of a sheep and burning of goats before cutting the tree to remove the trunk and branches that damaged a section of the rooftop of the building. Who is allowed to perform the rituals said the ceremony is not done by any other person who are known as Athuri Matura Nguru, who are older than 80 years. During the ceremony, Mudhamaki and revered cut bits of the tree bark 9 times around the area where the tree shades.
After what it happened, we managed the elders that knows more about the mugumo tree. As we all know, mugumo tree is a sacred tree, so we give us directive of how we can now eliminate this tree from here.
Kama vile mtu akimaliza miaka yake dunia hii, peleka kaburi, tukamweka huko akarara salama. Nao huo mugumo utapelekwa mahali, utawekwa ukae huko salama. Pesa kutumia kuni zake, kwa maana ni laana, kwa maana huu ni mti umekushateuliwa na Mungu kwa kuni zake au mbao.
Well, as earlier mentioned, protests the country. In the county of Nairobi, we have Giverson Maina, and this as Kenyans have took to the streets. Bill 2024, even as the National Assembly is this afternoon expected from the National Assembly Finance Committee on the recommendations made in the Finance Bill 2024. Give us on good.
And now we are coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. District where we are witnessing the protest, or rather thousands and thousands of Kenyan young people who have come to town just to convey the anti-finance bill messages, saying they don't want it amended, they want it totally all over. And I can tell you for sure it's quite a battle between the police service who are trying just to make sure that these young people do not make their way to Parliament buildings, because this is their. And I can tell you for sure, of course, kinds of businesses have not been disrupted. You can see you can see, of course, the vehicles are still making their way, and of course, commuters are still going on with their businesses, and of course, not been very disrupted, but of course major roads have been closed because the young people have felt still running battles up and down with of course a police. But one thing I managed to some of the protesters are saying that they are not fearful anymore, and we can see them, of course, they are not running they are not throwing any stones, and they keep on telling the police that they are being pitched up and down. The tear gases are coming quite thick and fast, but of course, they of course keep on coming back. But it looks like one thing. What are you saying? What are you?
Peaceful. We are peaceful. My name is Dr. Ivan Wanoni. I'm saying that this country is not.
Let me ask you a question. Where do you reject the finance bill? Where do you reject it?
Because this is our country.
The pictures you're seeing on your screen are live from the county of Nairobi Central Business District. My Maina is the one covering the protests in the county of Nairobi. This comes hours after of Parliament argued in varied ways why the bill should be adopted as we wait for the recommendations from the National Assembly Finance Committee to be tabled in the House. We have able teams on the ground. We'll bring you the developments as they unfold. And still on the political landscape in the county of Makueni has been dealt a blow with the sudden demise of Magdalene Kalembe, and the Assembly of Makueni. Magdalene, who was the widow of former Kibwezi Member of Parliament Kalembe Ndile, passed away on Pisha Hospital in Nairobi, where she had been undergoing treatment for the fever. According to the family, Magdalene fell ill towards the end of last week. The late Magdalene is survived by 10 children and 14 grandchildren.
Leo yapata kama saa 9 usiku aliweza kutoka hospitali moja hapa Nairobi ambao walikuwa wamelazwa kwa matibabu, na ni Mheshimiwa, it was very sudden kwamba hakuna yote alitarajia. Alikuwa ana afya nzuri na tutaraji kwamba ikifika leo ataweza kutoka kwa hospitali, lakini tunakubali kwa sababu ndio mapema.
Mau veterans in Nakuru County are calling on the government to fast-track their compensation meted out on them during the freedom struggle. The veterans say they are being ignored regardless of a court ruling, as some of them for the torture they underwent during the struggle to liberate the country from
Mahakama ya Nakuru katika mwaka wa 1994 iliweza kutoa mwelekeo wa kuhusiana na hata zile kiwango kile cha pesa kilikuwa kinastahili kutumiwa kuridhia wale waliopigania 1952 wamesauriwa nje. Mashamba hayo yote yako na yako mahakamani hapa Nakuru. Mara tunaambiwa kuna kesi zingine ziko Nairobi, mara tunaambiwa zingine Kiambu, zingine sijui Nyeri, sijui zingine Brite. Yasa,
wazazi wengi wetu wamekufa. Sasa wahawa unaona tukiwa nao hapa, hata ukiangalia mikongojo, hata kutembea wanashindwa. Wengi sasa wamepata magonjwa sababu ya ile baridi ambayo ilikuwa inawapata wakiwa kule saba.
Tunawauliza ni kwa nini, ni nini inaendelea. Tunawaomba, tunawasihi. Kuna magonjwa, wengine wazee, wengine hata hawatoki kwa vitanda na wanahitaji madawa. Kuumia na shida hizo, wenye walikuwa wanapigwa, wameshikwa na magonjwa, ndio tunawaomba yetu mtuonee huruma.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. We are taking our fast breather. We'll be back with more, including news as well as sports. Stay with us.
Kikohozi kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, matibabu labda ni TB ni ugonjwa wa kweli, yapo utapona. Daktari kushauri tumia dawa kwa nidhamu, elimu tupashane TB waishi poa.
Unajua, token meter yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token meter yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama token meter yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
This World Blood Donor Day celebrating 20 years of giving. Thanks to blood donors, I'm here today. Your donations gave me a...
Baba, najua ukushindwa kunipatia pete ya uongozi. Na mimi niko tayari mwanao.
Sasa nani huyo ananitaja msaada? Shoto ni nuksi tupu. Nani huyo? Jitokeze.
Mwenye ameraukia wapi? You by the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service.
Lunchtime news, welcome back. Now, a section of leaders in Turkana County has challenged men to take advocating for menstrual hygiene and spread awareness, as well as offer psychosocial support to men. Lilian Ekamais, the Turkana County governor who led a sensitization forum on Lodwa Mixed Primary School, regretted that social cultural norms and stigmatization still promoting menstrual hygiene. This even as men preying on girls and abusing them to notice.
Menstruation is a physiological process, and we want to ban stigma around menstruation. Msichana akifika umri ya siwe ni kitu ya kutusumbua, ni kitu ya kawaida.
Poverty and lack of information have been identified as the leading causes of teenage pregnancies in Migori County. This was disclosed during a community dialogue and public sensitization organized by IPAS and Kenya Poverty Elimination Network, focusing on sexual reproductive health among young girls. Rosalina Odongo from KPEN, significant gap in the community awareness regarding sexual reproductive health. The forum underscored the urgent need for sexual reproductive health education.
Wasichana wanaweza pata shida juu vitu ndogo ndogo kama pads. Najua kama mzazi pia ako chini, kitu ya kufanya ataenda kwa huyo rafiki yake ampe pads. Unajua ukishapewa pesa ya pads lazima kupea cha bure.
Key issues that come out of this dialogue is that a lot of the community members are not aware that there are options surrounding sexual and reproductive health, where they can get help. They don't know who to talk to.
The parents lack time to have children down, sit down, and then they discuss the issues. Some of them still believe on that it is not good to share some information with the children or the girl child.
The country are urging Kenyans to prioritize their mental health and general well-being in order to boost their productivity and ability to contribute in nation building. At Parklands Area Girls High School in Nairobi during an event to mark these years, Dr. Sema Sharma said that currently over 3,000 Kenyans are practicing yoga to boost self-esteem. The school's deputy principal, Jerusha Linky, emphasized the need to incorporate yoga training in schools to help students grow holistically.
International Yoga Day, you celebrate, do the yoga on that day. Do every day. Without failure, how we are eating the food, you have to do every day. And it should be passion. It should be in the blood. It's not forcefully that somebody is doing the exercise.
About only physical exercise, but it helps you to maintain a balance between mind, body, and your well. Because normally we think people running around in gym and all that, but they are like from mind, they are so anxieties and depressions and all that.
Girls need empowerment so that they are able to in their academic activities and also other extra curriculum activities. We are so delighted today for being with us here today.
West Pokot's Governor Simon Kachapin plans to renovate and revitalize Keringet's multi-million building that was previously operated by the Kisii Satellite 4 years ago. Speaking during an inspection tour of the facility, the governor attributed the closure to political interference and negligence. The governor said the county is engaging investors to restore the facilities and reclaim its lost glory.
Rallying call yangu zaidi ni kuja kumaliza kazi ile ambayo nilianzisha. Nimesema kwa sababu ya siasa mbaya iliwachwa kwa makusudi, na siasa kama hii sirudiwe katika yetu.
Kwa hivyo kufungwa kwa hii university imeleta economy ya Keringet kurudi chini, ambaye vile gavana mwenyewe amekuja leo itatusaidia tuwe na matumaini, hata senda Keringet kuwe na biashara iweze kuimarika.
So hii miradi ikifaji wa Keringet na entire West Pokot County, sababu watoto wetu watapata nafasi ya kusomea, ya transport ya kwenda mbali itawapunguzia, na wazazi watapata nafasi ya kusomesha watoto kwa wingi wa
To Channel 1 Business. The government is committed to promoting professional development and more inclusive and adaptive construction industry. Lands Cabinet Secretary says women need to step up training and skills for construction. Of workforce for women in the industry from the current 3% to the global standard of 15%.
Gender stereotypes, lack of equal opportunities for women, and exclusive work practices have been cited as major threats hindering the inclusion of women in the construction industry. The number of women joining the construction workforce in Kenya remains low, with players in the sector championing promotion and advancement of the role of women in construction.
And challenge. You know, things don't just get given. You must go and get them. Go there and get them. You must be in our faces. Because I'm telling you, as I said, out of, I don't know how many of them I'll be able to sit back and say that these are at least 10. And here we are talking about women in construction. Just how ironic is that?
Lands Cabinet Secretary has challenged industry players to promote professional development and empowerment towards a more inclusive and adaptive construction.
The women can be part of the affordable housing, building, construction itself, because our tenders. So they can be part of the contractors, some of the contractors that will win our This morning is how we can educate them, how we can raise their awareness in terms of how they procurement processes and understand them so that they can win. Obviously, you know, this is a male-dominated space.
Have a great potential, but they are not tapping it. We can already see that women are out there very qualified, but simply because we do not have finance, we do not have the knowledge of what we need to do.
Kenya will host the Africa Build Show starting 16th to 18th of next month at the International Convention Center, with a key focus on driving change to address missing gaps for women in construction. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Investors want the government to complete the expansion of the Malindi International Investments in Kilifi County. Capital Compass Group, which is investing 5.2 billion shillings in the real estate. The expanded airport will allow international investors fly directly to the coastal town of Malindi. The group says it has Phase 1 of the project, which comprises of commercial offices and hospitality units in Mtsangani area. It will comprise of 98 high-end residential apartments. The project is located 5 kilometers from airports.
Because it has everything that is supposed to nurture and grow us together. Now, we're also trying to promote Malindi destination, where we are going to have that facility as a facility that is bringing American tourists and other, for them to kind of find a facility that has everything in it. You know, if you want to have Airbnb, a place through Airbnb, places where you can come and do your own work. There's a place in there for you to do whatever work you're trying to do.
They have decided to build up 96 apartments in our area. We are very, very excited, especially in tourism, where we'll be receiving so many Americans coming down. Not have a problem. During this period we call Kusi. This Kusi is because of the north-south winds. There are no work, there's no job. So with this project, I'm sure Kusi tumemaliza kupitia wa mijengo.
An affordable housing project has been launched in Mombasa's Bamburi area that will see 600 units constructed. The project launched by of 1, 2, and 3 on a 5-acre parcel of land in the area. Speaking Fair Deal Properties Head of Sales and Marketing, Vin Patel, says the project will be done in 3 phases and will be accomplished.
This tourism industry where, you know, people who are coming to Mombasa for leisure or for tourism or for, you know, short stay for.
I'm coming in as one of the pioneer investors. I'm looking to buy in one house here.
Across the borders, Energean has agreed to sell its assets in Egypt, Italy, and Croatia to private equity fund Khalil for up to $5 million, a deal that will include a cash payment of $504 million, allowing the pay a special dividend of $200 million corporate bond. Here now are the details of this and other stories.
The sale will allow the company to focus on producing facility offshore in Israel and its exploration activity in Morocco. Energy wider Europe, Middle East and Africa region, where there is long-term policy support for gas and displacement of coal, thus defining its dividend policy following the completion of the deal, which is expected. This will raise the company's production of barrels of oil equivalent per day to 47,000, an energy investment aimed at in seeking further acquisitions in the Mediterranean, which is one of the fastest growing natural gas. Elsewhere, GMO Internet Group is making a foray into artificial intelligence and robots to help economic growth. The trading company will focus on matching robot and drone manufacturers and AI developers aimed at incorporating new technologies. The AI-equipped robots, which are advanced to carry, be critical in addressing the labor shortage expected to become more severe in the coming decades due to the country's growing population. The coal company has announced that its 30% owned Green Lagoon Technology Power Plant has commenced operations. The facility converts into biogas, significantly reducing environmental waste and providing a sustainable energy source. Additionally, its central more efficient management and greater scalability, setting the stage for future expansions and innovations in renewable energy. Megawatts biogas plants, it has contributed over 1.6 million kilowatts hours to the national grid since April. Lunchtime News.
Welcome to Channel 1 Sports. The national under-20 rugby team head coach Simon Jawishri of players that won the Bathurst Trophy in a squad that will participate in the forthcoming World Rugby Junior Trophy scheduled for the 2nd July in Edinburgh, Scotland. Jawishri's squad, nicknamed Chipu, features 9 returning players from the 2023 World hosted in Nairobi. They include Gaylord Ngasi, Andy Kuta, Wycliffe Ugutu, Nathan Sindoli, Patrick Wainaina, Farah Juma, Michael Wamalwa is set to depart for the championship on Thursday next week and will begin their Pool B campaign against Uruguay on July 2nd before facing 7th, and will wrap up their pool matches against USA 5 days later. Kenya will be taking part time after appearing in 2009, 2019 and 2023 editions. The winner of the tournament for the 2025 World Rugby Junior Championship. The stakes are high as the battle for the final Rugby Sevens Olympic tomorrow in the World Rugby Sevens repechage tournament in Monaco, with Kenya Lionesses hoping to book games in Paris. The Kenya Lionesses will be up against Argentina, Papua New Guinea and Samoa in pool. Their first match against Papua New Guinea tomorrow evening. Neighbors Uganda will also be taking part Peshage for the 2024 Olympic Games, where they are pulled together with Hong Kong, Jamaica and C comprises of debutants Zechea, China, Mexico and Poland. The winners of the repechage 12 women and 12 men's teams will join other qualifiers in Paris Olympic Games, who include the men's 7 team. Shuja.
The team is very motivated. Now we
who are looking forward to go play to the for the Olympics. So they're looking forward.
Germany was the first team to qualify for the knockout stage of the 2024 European Championship after they comfortably beat Uruguay.
Ilkay Gundogan, who scored in the 22nd minute before he found his way into the score sheet too in the 67th minute to give Germany the much-needed win.
Coming into the tournament, but have been beaten here.
In another Group A match, Switzerland kept their hopes of progressing to the knockout stage alive despite Scotland. Scott McTominay found the back of the net in the 13th minute, but it was cancelled 13 minutes later when Jadon Shaqiri equalised. The quest for the last 16 places continued today, with Spain playing defending champions Italy in Group B. England in another mouth-watering clash in Group C after Slovenia's match against Serbia.
Zhang Zhengzhen recorded his third victory with another giant-slaying action when he knocked out world's #1 5-0 Medvedev in the second round at the grass court.
42nd ranked Zhang started off strongly in the first set, which he won 6-3 but lost the second to Daniil, who fought back, but it was not enough as the 2021 US Open winner 6 in the final set after they tied in the first two sets.
Set does go the way of Medvedev.
Zhang made it to the quarterfinals and will face American Christopher Eubanks, who bet defending champion Alexander Bublik 7-6, 4-6 and 6-3.
Frustration for Medvedev, you can't do that.
Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev will play Arthur Fils in the quarterfinals after a stunning win of 6-4 and 7-6 over Italy's Lorenzo Sonego.
Alexander's
All right, so we've come to the end of Channel 1 News. A quick recap. A section of Kenyans took to the streets in protest of the finance bill and expecting the National Assembly to table the report with the recommendations from the National Assembly Finance Committee regarding this, as a section of leaders in Parliament are also against the bill, as they say it will affect of many Kenyans amid high cost of living, while others want the bill to be passed, saying the country will bill as it is. My name is Irene Muchuma. On sign language interpretation, we have Brian Muraro, but we are leaving you with the weekly segment, the Cabinets, and this afternoon we are featuring John Musembi. Thank you for Channel 1. Good afternoon.
John Musembi Kyalo was born in 1931 in Kisakini village, Kasinga, in what was Iveti South constituency. He went to Kasinga and Ngelani primary schools and later joined Kibaha High School in Muchuma, proceeding to India for a degree in business administration. Upon returning to Kenya, he joined the provincial administration and served as a district officer before he was promoted to district commissioner, working in several. Kyalo then left provincial administration upon appointment as a director in the department. Kyalo reached his pinnacle in the civil service in 1970 when he was appointed as permanent secretary in the Barely 4 years later, Kyalo quit the civil service for politics but failed to wrestle the Iveti North Muchuma. His bid for the seat in the subsequent 1979 general election and in the 1980s flopped too. Kyalo's third stab at a parliamentary seat finally bore fruit in the 1988 where he clinched the newly created Machakos town constituency and retained it in the 1992 polls. Appointed Minister for Health, and during the 3 years he held that portfolio, he hosted President Moi at several schools and churches in Machakos town constituency, signaling their close ties. As health minister, he was credited with expanding hospitals and establishing new ones across the country. He was, however, accused of being the infamous Makueni-Mukurweini mix-up, where he allegedly tricked out Mukurweini in Nairobi Shilling Hospital that he instead put up in Makueni in his native Machakos district. As Minister for Health, however, Kyalo lost his voice and was diagnosed with throat cancer, which led to 1995. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.